All right, cool. So I guess we left off. We just knocked out the second chorus, and I think we're ready for like a bridge and maybe to wrap it up. And I kind of want to see if there's anything else we can do, maybe in the chorus to give that second chorus a little bit of change. So let's listen right now what we got. All right. I think it's like opposed to any kind of like dropout chorus. I kind of want to do just something kind of rocking and maybe halftime that, you know, start getting like some drums kind of made up. Maybe just keep it like totally consistent there. Let's switch to eighth notes. Just easier. I don't think we're gonna do anything more in depth than that for right now. And let's try like a pretty simple. There we go. Okay. Or amount of distance seems pretty good for so we'll start, bridge will start here. And I think what we'll probably do is we'll do a dropout coming out of that into that last chorus. I think it'll be pretty sick. All right, so let's kind of go into it. Maybe something like that. I'm trying to think how kind of broken down we want it to go. Maybe something like that. We'll start with some like kind of open kind of diamonds on that, and we'll kind of see what happens. Let's take off the not messing with the tracking anymore, and we're just gonna track directly on here. So let's get maybe this section here, and I think we're gonna loop it and start playing with it. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure I'm tuned up on here. Let's see. Tuna. It's so much noise on this thing. Yeah, we'll keep this part pretty simple. I need a little bit more runway. Let's stretch this out. 4. Cool. Cool. Let's get the other side. I think probably it'd be more fun to like spice up the riff a bit, but I kind of want to get a vibe on just how everything's sounding in the progression, and then we can kind of see where we can spice it up so it's not just like straight ahead. Cool. It should be E, D, A. What would the progression be? Let's see. Yeah, we'll just do big dumb quarter notes. Should be F. Ooh. Do 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 do. Ooh, eighth notes. Cool. Let's bring it down to. Sounds about right. Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but I think it kind of works. And just for my sanity, I want to get these the right color. All right, it's coming along. There might be some cool stuff we can also do synth-wise on there. All right, let's start collapsing some of the shit we're not using. I think we might keep that guitar lead. And I'm curious what it'll actually sound like coming out of that on the dropout. So maybe let's take everything we kind of got in that chorus. Should be all this shit. Throw it where the dropout would be. Double it. Let's start nuking some stuff. And I think we bring the EDM drums back right there during the dropout. But I think we're going to change up the hi-hat pattern too. Yeah. I don't need that last time through. I kind of want to do a dropout right before there. And yeah. Maybe halftime. Let's see. eighth notes. So something like this. Let's listen to that second chorus going into the bridge. I don't think we need all this shit at the end. I wonder if we do like could do like a fade out thing there, but I kind of think there's enough space. Might make sense to end it concise there. I don't think I like that there. This desperately needs like actual like drummer time in it. Let's do crash right, crash left, and a kick at the end. And get rid of that crash at the end. Oh no. Cool. Sounds pretty good. I want to hear this whole thing in context a bit. We'll go one bar. We can bring that a little higher. Kind of want this part to explode a bit more. Cool. curious, that snare, maybe we shift that to the tom. Yeah. That's coming along. Okay, cool. So, area, I think we need something in like the mid-range in the bridge. So we've got the low, everything with the bass, got the high part. Cool. All right, let's see what we can kind of do in this bridge section. Kind of want to loop it. Maybe start playing with some pads. Let's see. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, we've been working on this past couple days. I want to say we started on Sunday and we did Tuesday before. I was trying to do like Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. But thank you, Glass. Appreciate the kind words. It's very architectsy. So kind of like real simple guitar stuff we're aiming for. I kind of want to give like this bridge some lift. Kind of see what maybe there's like a cool something we have on that Eon pad we can play with. So let's see. What do we got? Contact. Let's start another track just because I have a bunch of effects on that I don't want to mess with. All right, let's see what we have. We have this Nexus plugin, which I've been actually where I got that other saw effect from. Oh, geez. Let's bring that down a bit. Let's bring this here, a little easier to see. I'm gonna be cool buried a bit. Don't like that second chord. Let's see how that starts. Something on here in my head. Ooh, wrong note. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's quantize that. And let's shrink this. We might play with that sound after. I think it's a pretty cool lead. I don't want it to sound too like Icy Starsy. Let's quantize. And let's balance some of that out, because this pad... Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, the guitar wall is pretty gnarly. Can't say I love that pad still. It's a cool lead. Let's keep playing around with. Yeah, it's a ton of Telecasters back there. I feel like I want to hear octavey guitars. Maybe it's just because all like the Linkin Park news that's been going on. I'm like, I kind of want to hear like guitar octaves. Maybe have that like kind of mirror it. All right, let's see if we are getting signal in. Clean. We can use that lead channel probably. And we'll do a... Yeah, Telecasters are sick. You could probably tell I'm a huge like Jim Root fan. I got this is the probably like my 8-string guitar. So I have like 8-string guitars. I just don't like the width of the 8-string necks. So I always had I got this baritone made by this company called Halo Guitars. Fantastic brand, fantastic companies. They did this one for me in drop E, and they made another one for me. This is the drop A. It's pretty much the same thing. They're all, I'd say, like the default genty hard rock stuff. Fishman Fluence, pretty flat fretboard radius, long scale. That's, I think, a 30-inch scale. This, I want to say, is 29 or something. And then for stuff in standard tuning, I have like it's still got Fishman Fluences in it, but they're different. It is not strung right now because I'm working on it, but just it's got the gray cock Fishman Fluence. A little bit more like rounded edges on it. I actually have a new, it's called bridge coming in on that too, because I don't like the ashtray one's a little wide, so it's like I want something that cuts off a bit earlier on it. But this I use more for just like standard tuning stuff. If I want humbuckers in standard, I got a Music Man I've been using. God, this fella, what's his name? The Riffs, Beards, and Gear YouTuber Ryan Bruce, his signature. Love his channel and stuff like that, which is cool. Even if like even if I didn't love his YouTube channel and hated his content and stuff, I still love this guitar because it's like the perfect gigging guitar. Humbucker, single coil, 1 volume knob, big up selector. Nice blue color. So yeah, it's kind of like my main go-to. But I like I had the Halo guitars I have made. They have that same what's it called? The truss rod adjustment. I actually love that right at the bottom of the neck, as opposed to having to like unscrew stuff on here. Yeah, they're super pretty. My favorite color one might be the Silver Burst. I always grew up like a fan of Tool, so I always wanted to get like the Silver Burst guitars. We should copy this. I like that layer. I want to see if there's something else we can add on it too. Excuse me. So we'll keep that layer there. I want to mess around with the pianos. This one might be cool. Oh, you're a drummer? Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, dude, the drummers are the hardest thing to find in a band. I'm super lucky. The band I play with, love my drummer, Paul. The guy's awesome. Drummers are hard to come by, and every drummer I know that's decent is like always being asked to be in like 10 different bands. But what kind of music do you play? Do you play out live or just playing drums? What do you tell me about it? Facts. Kind of liking that as far as synth goes. Oh yeah, we wanted to add guitars. That's why I picked this up. So if you're a drummer, you're hearing the shit I'm doing on drums is terrible. So anytime I'm doing writing, when I send stuff over, I send stuff to my drummer who's really good at working with MIDI too. So just send him my stuff, and he makes it not sound like a guitarist who wrote drums. Metallica, Duran Duran, there you go. Those are great influences. Full disclosure, I actually got into Metallica later. I remember I randomly, I was like new of Metallica, but I think that I randomly just bought the Black Album from like Walmart. This is back in the days where you had they had the random headphone station set up, and like they'd have the albums there, so you can press a button to like sample listen to it. So I remember getting like the Black Album, listening like of Wolf and Man. I think Orion was on that too, and I was like, oh my god, this is like some cool shit. Let me restart my Fortin Nameless. That might be crashing on me. Because I always track it, just hearing it through my ears, and you guys can hear it back. But I don't like... Yeah, something like that. I'm thinking like Faint by like Metallica. This voicing might be cool. That's what I complain about, like when I'm working super in low tunings. It's like finding that middle ground without just trying to just layer too much octave stuff on it. I used to play live regularly. I haven't been able. Oh, I'm sorry. Hope you're doing well on the injury. Hope you're recovering. That's tough coming back from injury. I had a bit, luckily during COVID, where I had like really bad like tendonitis, and it's like nothing sucks more than wanting to play music, and then it's like you can't because you cannot feeling well, or it's injury or global pandemic shit. So it's a terrible feeling, because it's like for a lot of musicians I know, that's like our way to kind of de-stress from it. But if you haven't tried it, also too, like if you just want to scratch that creative itch, playing around with some of the MIDI stuff is fun. But yeah, nothing beats like the feeling of actually hitting a kit. I'm a terrible actual drummer, by the way. I have a kit set up. It's mostly just for like rehearsals for my drummer. I can do like really terrible double bass. We thought about doing one of those videos where it's like, guess who in the band is the drummer or something like that. And I think I can sound like a shitty drummer, but my actual drummer is like nuts, which helps a ton. But yeah, wishing you a safe, speedy recovery too. And yep, 5 guitars, learn to play. Worst case scenario, you can see what I do. If you just have the guitars just hanging up and they look good, you know, it's like the best wall art you can get. All right, let's start tracking. That was actually not a terrible, just random first take on there. I like last minute decided to switch to slide all the way up for the that octave on there. So let's take half of this, move it over here, boom, boom. Get rid of this take lane. I forgot to disable that. I mostly use take lanes for vocal tracking. I take it back. I want that split out now. Let's make another 2 tracks. And we'll just copy the... Actually, I have that on the effects. Never mind. Maybe this guy here. Something timing-wise sounds off. Probably track it tighter. I might leave this original here. We'll retrack another one. Still feels a little low. I'm wondering if I want to like transpose that up. Something like that. Let's track another one. We can get that tighter. One for the take lanes. Let's do another. Because in guitar land, we do it all twice. Slow start. Let's try again. And I think I might want that copied onto its own section. So let's make a copy. Keep just the bridge. Because I don't feel like doing all the automation just on that one section. Let's call this guitar bridge. My giant mic's in the way. Cool. I'll rename the subtracks at some point. Let's see. Sometimes there's a plugin I sometimes use. All the advertising on it is like super cringy, but it's called Drip, and people like want to use it more for like vocal or piano stuff, but I've used it on guitar a decent amount, and it's nice for a lead when I don't want my guitar to sound like a guitar. Kind of my wheelhouse. Awesome, love it. Yes, please, and let me know if there's something you hear on the drums. That would be fantastic. I am trying to learn as well too. Oh, please don't let this crash. Yes, I can do that. Let me take a look. And we should have it. Let's go to the full kit. I think there's like a mixer setting in here. A little more oomph to the kick. And let's get some verb in there. I have a awesome Valhalla, so I have two different reverbs we can try. Let's do the Supermassive, and let's add just like a little bit. Ooh. Maybe not the Supermassive. That's more for like big vocal stuff that I'm doing. Let's do the vintage verb, because Supermassive adds like a little bit of delays and stuff too, which I don't think I want. That's with the delay. Without. With it. Kind of want to take a little bit of low end out of that, but yeah, I like that. Let's see. Should be like a bass shelf on there. I like it. I like it. It makes it sound less digital, which is cool. Let's see. I think there's a way. High frequency, bass frequency. Let's turn it up. And let's get rid of some of the bass. That should maybe clean it up a bit. A little, and maybe just a tiny bit less. And let's listen to it. I like it already. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll start from the top. Ooh, something's missing here. All right, let's try again. I love it. And in case you're curious, I'm using the Gika Drums Fusion Kit. It's kind of the Bad Omens-y vibe. Yeah, I used that Fusion Kit on a Paramore cover I was doing last month, and it was awesome. I kind of like how the snare is a bit more poppier on it, like a little higher pitched. And I apologize as a drummer to hear this tom beat I added in. I'm starting to hate that tom beat. kind of want to boom. I think it would be a good transition there. Okay. You get to, in time, watch how Guitar Brain works when programming drums. Oh, I gotta freeze some of these tracks. I'm starting to hit my CPU limit. Something ain't right. Snare. Something like that. Let's do tom 1 and 2. All right, let's start. Some of the stuff I'm not using as much, I might start freezing some tracks. Freeze track. Yeah, so what else do I think this needs? I think the second verse might need a little bit of character. I kind of want to hear orchestral strings a bit, maybe in that bridge, because it's starting to sound like kind of cinematic and orchestral. I think it might be neat to have like that bum, 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 bum stuff going on. Would be cool. And then that bridge, I want to see if there's a way I can give it a little bit more character too. While I'm freezing this. And it's funny, I just got one of those newer Mac Studios, so I should have like plenty of overhead, but as you can tell, I just load everything with plugins. Especially like on guitar, I'm using a lot of that Soothe compressor, or that, I don't know if it's technically a compressor. It does like a lot of EQ and compression, but it kind of softens out a lot of the guitar and gets rid of some of the harsh frequencies, which I'm a big fan of. Klons, thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate the drum stuff. Love to see you on again so you can help me out a bit more with some drums, especially on the mixing side. That's an area I need to get better at. So, but also too, if I don't see you again, I wish you a speedy recovery. Hope to see you out there on the stage sometime soon. All right. All right. How we doing on CPU usage? Let's freeze these guys. Awesome. Take it easy, dude. All right. Freezing is always the best part. I also think there's ways in I think you do it in Contact where you can have like multiple what's the best way to say it? You can have multiple instruments firing off the same library like in parallel, which I think saves CPU space a little bit, but this should buy us a tad bit of overhead. And we can get rid of the Captain plugins. I'm really not using that. And we'll keep the splice bridge for now. I might want to add more splice stuff to it. Excuse me. All right. And we can take this drum effects and freeze that too. Cool. I wonder if this section might sound good. Yeah, we bring the sub early. I don't think we need that hi-hat control stuff in here now, since I think we're getting some of that rhythmic stuff from the leads going on. So I feel like you're not like losing the time. And I don't think we need this here. Duplicate that. Let's unfreeze these. that section out. We don't want 16. Let's do here. I appreciate you to follow. I am D20 King. Hearing like a ascending lead in my head. It's going good. Can't complain. Can't complain. We started this track, I want to say Sunday night. So they're like third session on it. Kind of going for like an architectsy, bad omensy thing. But aside from that, everything's been really good. I got a new glowy plant behind me for mood, which has been really helping a lot. So apparently it can like change different colors, but I like plugged it in and that looked good. So I was like, let's roll with it. Not sure how I feel about this soloed drum section. Snare sounds kind of bad. I don't know if I like that. Maybe I take off that. Let's unfreeze it. Let's get rid of... Maybe that band pass is just ass. I'm using Ableton. I'd say if you're new to production, I think most DAWs, like you see a lot of like, I think it's whatever suits your workflow the best. I learned on Ableton, so it's what just feels familiar to me. I don't have to think too much on what I'm doing, which is nice. I think I started using it back in maybe like 2013 or 2014, so it's been like a decade of using it. And I've tried like switching over to Logic before. I can use Logic a bit. I've used Pro Tools in Studio sometimes, but I think Ableton's workflow just seems like it works for me. There's definitely stuff I don't like about it. Like I don't think Ableton has ARA support, so if you're doing like vocal editing, they don't have like the real time. If you're doing like Vocaline or Melodyne, you don't get that instant integration that you get with like Pro Tools or something. But a lot of it kind of depends on also what if you're using a Mac or PC. If you're a Mac person and you're maybe new to it, Logic's awesome. A lot of great like included stock sounds, but yeah, I've just always been an Ableton person. I like also too that you can set your own like MIDI maps. I'm sure you can do it in other DAWs, but I don't know how like engineers like memorize. Oh yeah, C1 is kick and D1 is snare and all these. So I can make my own like maps. This is what I have kind of going on this screen right here. So it's a little bit easier for me as a non-crazy studio technical piano guy to like program stuff in. So it makes sense for my dumb guitarist brain. Persona Studio One, yeah, the Studio One stuff's awesome. They made a bunch of updates to it recently too, I think, and it's I was even looking at it because it does feel similar to Ableton. You're a deathcore person, you're gonna hate the drums I put on stuff. I feel like all like the metal drummers are coming in and they're like, oh, you need to fix this, and I'm like, yeah, probably. I think I know part of the problem too. I think when I did this, I'm still using the One Kit Wonder. Let's use the Modern Fusion kit. That might actually sound better. And let's switch to the GM drums. Might be so it's gonna be like more of a higher pitch snare. And apparently much louder. Cool. These lower, God, they sound so digital. Much better. Yeah, it takes time. I was lucky enough to have a buddy of mine really show me a lot of this when I was first learning, because I think it's like sometimes as a musician you have like these songwriting ideas, and it's nice to be able to just like not have to have like a whole band around you to start writing stuff, which is cool. And it's for me as a someone that sucks at drums to be able to like program in what I think makes sense to me, or like I would say there was someone here before. I don't know if you were here at the time, but I write in MIDI and then I send stuff to my drummer, who's fantastic, incredible dude, great drummer. Smells terrible. No, he's fine. Send it over to my drummer Paul, and he like takes it and is like, okay, I see what you're trying to do with your guitarist brain, and I'm gonna take that and make it what an actual drummer would play, especially because like he knows I default to like the same like 9 fills. Um, one of them is this one here, the what's it called? I just call it like the Asking Alexander. The da 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 da. Like I use this fill ever. Yeah. So a lot of times when I'm writing, I'll just copy and paste that fill. I use a couple of cool MIDI drum libraries when I'm writing too. More just as like inspiration for certain things or to kind of help me get like a riff out there. So there's like a Modern Fusion mini pack. This one, what is that? Let's find something closer to my BPM I'm working with. 160, and you basically take a groove and just drop it in. And what I do is I'll take like something like that and I'll try to write a guitar thing on top of it. Then I'll get rid of the drums and then try and say, okay, well, if I have a guitar riff I like, what would make sense to me? So it's kind of like a circular writing rhythm I do. And they have like certain ones on here. They have like free grooves, which are a little bit more, it's maybe simple and less proggy. Yeah, like some pretty easy shit. They have a ton of like hardcore crazy fills. Here's like a crazy fills pack, which like so you get to kind of throw some of that stuff in. So I'm like, oh well, I like kind of what's going on here, but I want a crazy fill here, and then I can take boom, which that part doesn't really fit, but that's something like I can also do too, to just kind of get like some placeholders and help with the transitions. And then when I send it to my drummer, he sends it back to me and he's like, "This is it. Use this," and it always sounds good. Oh, you're a vocalist. Hell yeah. I don't know how you people do it, dude. Anyone that's doing like harsh vocals for that long, it's just incredibly impressive. Just how they can do like, especially like a lot of touring musicians that are doing like maybe like 5 shows in like 7 days or something, and they'll, especially if you're headlining, maybe like 50 minutes to like an hour 10 set, blows my mind. That's an area I've never been. I like occasionally like in my band, like we'll do like a couple covers or we'll do like something a little heavier, like we'll do that Evanescence Bring Me to Life, and I'll do like a couple screams, but I've never been, I'm more of like a clean vocal harmony person at times. Not a clean vocal main singer, so you'll probably never hear me sing on here. I would call singers for that, but yeah, it is nice as you're learning to write, to be able to kind of have like the whole band in front of you to kind of like get ideas together. Like I think there's pros and cons to both. I've been in plenty of bands where we just kind of sit in a room and jam, and we get some awesome stuff. I've been in some, like the last band I was in was a lot of me coming up with stuff in the studio, pitching it to them, and we all get in a studio before we get in a live room. And some people don't like that too. I think it does ruin a little bit of that magic that I think happens, some of that spur of the moment magic. So yeah, it's kind of whatever works for whatever song. I've always been in bands where it's be like doing a lot of like synth production and stuff too, as you can kind of hear on this track, where I do a lot of like layering. And to me, it's like I've never been a shredder on guitar, or like I don't write super crazy riffs, as I'm sure you can tell. But what I like to do is a lot of soundscaping and layering and doing sound design. And I think that stuff can get you like some pretty unique stuff. But like whatever works for whoever. Oh, nice. I was lucky. One of the first live bands I played in was more of a metalcore band. So like think like A Day to Remember mixed with maybe like a little bit of like Let Live style. And the first screamer I worked with, his name's Caleb. He was fantastic, and just because I think a lot of people listen to harsh vocals and like, oh, anyone can do this. They're just screaming into a mic, and then every person that's like in a band that says that, I'm like, well, try it, see what you can do, and they normally sound like a dying cat into the microphone. So I think a lot of times harsh vocalists do not get enough credit. Also, if they can sing too, that's fucking awesome. Also, on the note, even saying you suck at singing, I know more people that can sing than can scream well. So that I think that says a lot about how difficult it is. I think you can find like decent singers around the area. Finding anyone that can do harsh vocals is like when you find one, it's like you hold on to them and you're like, please don't leave and join another band. Harsh vocalists and drummers are the two hardest things to find and keep in a band. Probably more so drummers. Drummers are, I feel like every drummer I know, like say they play in like 9 different bands. I think we could maybe make this bass section a bit more gravy, like a boom, da, boom, I was listening to a lot of the home team, so that's probably why I'm thinking that. And I think you're starting to see more groovy bass parts kind of be the thing, as opposed to bass players just playing diamonds or eighth notes or quarter notes. So I think that kind of stuff is pretty neat. Just kind of seeing how bass as a whole has been, I think, getting a lot more love. Drummers in 3 bands is about to start touring with the rock band. Yeah, if I could have gone back, like I say, drummers have there's like this kind of like thing you weigh when I think when you're starting to pick instruments. As a guitar player, I think it's a lot more affordable to start, or maybe as a singer too. I think it's a lot more affordable to get going on guitar because drums are expensive. Two, it's a lot easier, especially nowadays, to practice guitar at home and not like piss off your neighbors or piss off your parents, and you can just sit with headphones and actually like get decent at a guitar without having to like have a full amp. Drums, like electric kits, are stupid expensive. Real kits are pretty expensive too. And then finding an actual like, imagine having to like set up all this time in like rehearsal spaces too. Because a lot of places, depending on your living in situation, it's you can't just sit and practice drums if you live in an apartment or a townhome or something. And if you're lucky enough to like have a drum kit, have the equipment and a place to play, it's like awesome. And then what we do is we put them in the back of the stage too, where no one can see them. And we make jokes about them. Don't give them microphones. So I think we are lucky to have drummers, and any good ones. It's like, all right, just I'll stop with the drummer jokes. Just please don't leave me. I will say that if I was to be more nervous about anything, it'd be like bassists nowadays. I feel like every band is going like the laptop bassist route. My last band, we actually did that for a bit, mostly because I think sometimes when you get like a good group of people and like you synergize well in writing, it's hard to try and like bring extra people into the fold. One, because like if you get to the point where you're doing like songwriting royalties and stuff, more people you're splitting with. Um, and I think a lot of lead guitarists like kind of like I can also do the bass. One, if you are a guitar player, does not mean you're going to be a good bassist. I think bass has a totally different vibe to it. That's just kind of what you got to do. Make sure you have a good bassist. If you do have a band that has like I am an ex bassist. I always say I'm always a bassist, but I played bass in country bands. I played bass in pop bands, metal bands. Um, it's you think of the instrument a bit differently. And ironically, when I'm writing, I actually kind of like writing bass more than I like writing guitar, if I'm being honest. We have two regular drum sets, one electric kit in my house. I'm okay at drums. My sons are in drums. That's awesome. See, I think we need more drummers in the world, and I think you providing that environment for the next future drummer, he's going to have a ton of opportunities. Not enough drummers. You throw a stone into a crowd of people, you hit a guitar player, but you could search forever and like not find good drummers. Let's keep it so we're in scale. As far as mostly spent vocalist, mic and ears. SM7B for recording. It's hard to kind of see. I got a shelf up there of microphones. Three of them are different types of SM7Bs. Great microphone to get for anything. I want to say Thriller was recorded with an SM7B. The SM7DB is actually what I'm using right here now, and I like it just because it's got that preamp. You didn't have to do it, but a lot of times if you got an SM7B, you had to get a cloud lifter with it, which kind of gave it a little bit of clean preamp on it. And it used to be like a thing, and they have deals where they'd pair them together because they were like so required. Having that baked in is just like one extra thing you don't have to worry about. So like I have two of the SM7DBs. I have one here for when I'm doing streaming, and I keep one in my vocal booth behind me, which is like, let's see if we can show you all a bit. I have a vocal booth back there. And I have an SM7DB in there, and I have one of the what's it called? It's gonna bother me. The mic brand begins with a K. I have like a Slate ML1, but I'll be honest, like there's nothing I've recorded that I couldn't record on an SM7, DB or an SM7B. If there is one microphone I would pick for if I would say you have one vocal mic, use it for whatever you need to. SM7B, SM7DB, either one, they're awesome. Can't go wrong with them. They're tanks. They look good too. Just a nice durable mic. And as far as like price on it, they're really not too bad. And that's awesome. You're getting like a home studio set up too. I think music for kids is so important. And I was lucky enough where they actually had a little bit of a music program in the elementary school I started in. Albeit it was recorders and playing a hot cross buns, but it was music, it was something. But I got into music because what is it? My dad played a little bit, and then my uncle actually was a guitar player in bands, and he showed me a lot. And then I had like some of the dudes I went to high school with, like we'd all bring our acoustic guitars on the bus or whatever. We looked like absolute fucking nerds at the time because we sucked, but we would just sit and learn. And I learned like blues scale and all that, stuff that you kind of learn when you're starting. But I think it's like just kind of the more you can kind of take it, like pick up at a young age is better. If I could go back, like whenever I have kids, I want to definitely see if I can get them early on stuff like piano. I think I'm a decent guitar player, terrible piano player. I literally use a like a MIDI controller that has key stuff built into it, so I don't have to worry about learning scales. I can write really bad piano parts in synth. That's something I'd like to have learned. There was a time where I was trying to learn cello. That was annoying for everyone in the household. Cello and violin. I was like, this can't be that hard. I know guitar, but no, it was. I was making these squeaky noises the entire time learning. I think I have a little too much gain on here, if I'm being completely honest. There's a couple notes I'm not liking. Excuse me. This one's going to be in B. Also, if I was like actually recording this, like releasing it, like dropping it for something and not just kind of writing, definitely do track bass. I've worked. There's been some times in the studio where on some songs MIDI bass does sound good. I think I like throwing a MIDI sub layer into whatever I'm doing, but I think definitely like record the real thing. Send both to like whatever mixer you're working with or whatever engineer. Like if you have the MIDI bass already there and it's accurate, it doesn't hurt sending it because sometimes they'll layer it. Part of the reason I write my bass in MIDI when I'm starting. One, it's easier to just make adjustments versus picking an instrument up over there. Something else about it too, which everyone that's been in my studio thinks is hilarious. I have the bass model I'm using is I think it's the Gin Bass 2. Yeah. Which is fine, but it's modeling a Dingwall, what is it? Dingwall NG3. And it's like, maybe like, I think it's an $80 plugin. And I use this more than I use this. Like the actual instrument it's modeled off of. I have like the real $2,000 thing sitting here. And I reach for the plugin first just because it's a little bit easier to write and mess around with, which is awful. It's a terrible habit that I've gotten into, but it's just like so much easier to write and switch notes around and not have to pick up and put down instruments all the time. But when you're recording, use the real thing. When you're in the studio, don't there ain't nothing wrong with using the the old gin bass. And part of the reason I'm using the gin bass versus I think I have better sounding bass plugins. I actually kind of like what's it called? Not Easy Bass. What did I call it? Oh no, I guess it's Easy Bass. Yeah, Easy Bass sounds to me sounds the best. But because I've been working like this song, especially, I'm hitting that low like E0. I think the lowest the Easy Bass goes is maybe C0. I could check. They may have had like an update or another library come out, but this just has the lower tuning that I'm kind of playing with more. If I was working in like what's it called, like using my 6-string baritone or my drop A baritone, I'd probably not use the gin bass. I just think the actual like DI sounds kind of gross. Like I'll play it without my processing. And as far as like bass processing, I have the Dark Glass plugin. I'm using this Parallax. Let's copy this over. I'm gonna want to fix those tail notes on here. It's gonna go down to E. I guess it's E1 it's going to, not E0. I lied. But whatever that low bass string is, that's where it is. BRB, see ya. Ugh. That last note I don't like. Nice. Bass is an awesome instrument to learn too, by the way. Dun-dun. That should work. That might make our mix sound better. Let's see. Kind of want to copy that down to the sub too to get some of that octave. I lied. I want to keep the roots. Is that not there? You. I think that fixed a bit in the second verse. I think I might want to add some like held out piano notes. There was a I kind of want to hear in this bridge which of those two sounds I like the best. This one. Let's unfreeze this track and let's maybe add some little floaty piano stuff in that second verse just to give it a little bit of ear candy. Because I think the guitar's doing some kind of rhythmic stuff. So I try to balance, like if too many instruments are doing something rhythmic, I want something to kind of like have more like sustain or kind of poke in and out. So let's do that. And let's see where we are. I can't unhear like the intro of this riff with that effect on it. It sounds so much like the pad in that Skrillex Bangarang song from like 2005 or whatever it was. 2005 was 20 years ago. Yeah, dude. I'm getting old, dude. I was like, it just came out. That Skrillex guy. This is gonna age even more. I remember when the Skrillex used to be the singer screamer in the band from First to Last. That's where I was like, oh yeah, Sonny Moore. And now it's even Skrillex. And I was like, oh, his new project, and that was forever ago. Jim, since you joined, I'm going to show you where we're at now. I don't know how much you heard. That song can legally drink. That song could legally party. That was a great song, too. And I remember the music video was fucking wild. So, Jim, if you haven't seen it, we added a bridge. Did a little bit of drum mixing. Got that part a bit tighter. I got an idea. I heard it. I knew we were listening, but whatever. That's enough stuff there. I just kind of want that descending. That. So let's take this, isolate it, duplicate it. Maybe we bring it in kind of halfway through. Just have that kind of sit in the background. Idea. Maybe we that and we change. Let's duplicate this a bunch of times, and we alternate where that's going to go. This should all be like here. Actually, no, I lied. Starts there. What's that sub it goes up to? E? Maybe we can have this resolve. Cool. So all together, that section's going to sound like... That should resolve on all the right spots. Cool. Still got to find that legato thing they got there. Actually, what's the second chord we're working with? A. So we want probably that to resolve to A. There we go. Okay. Added that funner bass part. I think I'm missing something. Cool. I don't know if I like that first note. Yeah, maybe we keep that E. Better. Let's try higher. I don't hate that. this layer in when this comes into. Yeah, okay. And I think the rhythm in the verses is why I like tracking DI as opposed to tracking everything the way in. Kind of want to pull back the gain. It's a little less overly distorted. Let's copy this. Boom. Delete this. Delete the whole thing. Goodbye. Oh, no, I don't want Soothe. I want the whole chain. And let's drop this in. Kind of want to pull the gain back, or the also turn off this. The gate's already off. Yeah, let's turn that one off too. Yeah, so if you track DI, it's so nice to be able to just like lower gain levels and stuff as you see fit. Because normally, like if you track that like mic'd into an amp going in, this is why I say do it during your pre-production writing section. When you're actually tracking, if you like know what you want the tones to be in advance, awesome. But this is like kind of stuff that's a little harder to do when you've already like committed to a sound and then you're going in and writing. Because if I wanted to turn back and I did this all just on an amp and a mic, I'd be sitting back here retracking shit. Hearing that lead a little hot. Copy this over to, maybe that'll sound good in this dropout. I think this is really, I think we pulled a lot of stuff together today, so I think that's great. No, I don't need this. Oh, that's coming together. All right. I'm liking what we're doing. Trying to think if I like the tails on there as much. And let's see if there's anything else. I'm kind of wanting orchestral strings on the chorus is what I'm thinking. So let's go over to Contact, see what we got. And something else too. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, something else I try to do too. So it's a lot of it's context depending on like bands I've been in before. We send off after we do engineering stuff. We send things out to mixers. We don't normally have the same person that engineered the record and mix the record. I think sometimes it's nice to have a fresh ear, and sometimes we'll send them all the layers, and then after it's mixed, they'll send it back, and there'll be certain things that we hear differently than what we sent. We try to send them as much stuff as we can, so when it gets to actual mixing, they may bring a certain synth layer up, or they might actually like pull a guitar layer down somewhere. And it's kind of nice when you have someone that hasn't sat and listened to the entire album for however long you're in the studio, sometimes 2 weeks at a time, and be like, okay, I've seen them go through the creative process of this, and I know kind of what their weird things that they're like, they have like demoitis to. And I think having someone who hasn't been there for that process mix your stuff just sounds so much better. And worst case scenario, if you have something in your head where you're like, hey, this is how I actually wanted it, you just send the mix notes back to your engineer. And they'll say, hey, I actually wanted to hear this a little bit more present. I want these vocals buried a bit. Can we use this kind of tone print here? And I think you kind of get the best of both worlds. And I think you won't hear like a second take, like another fresh perspective when you're getting your stuff mixed unless you have someone else to do it. So if you can afford to and it's in the cards for you, that's something I always recommend, just having a fresh pair of ears on it. And they may hear stuff that maybe you didn't, that you may like more. All right, so let's call this, don't want to freeze track. Let's call this guy orchestra. And maybe I'm thinking orchestra because, man, what was that Architect song? That whole last album they did had like Dead Butterflies on it. That like they had so much. They actually like rented a real freaking orchestra. If I could afford one and I could house one, I'd keep one here. I wouldn't want to feed them though. It's a lot of food. All right. So we're kind of working in 4-bar sections, and we don't need to highlight the scale because that's all we got. And let's see what libraries we got. There is Novo Strings is awesome if you like kind of modern stuff. Oh yeah, definitely. If you don't have to have if you can avoid mixing it yourself, that's always a good way to do it. I think I've got like a good ear for mixing, but I would be hesitant on anything like bands I've been in releasing of me doing the actual final mix. Even if you're really good, sometimes it's just a different set of ears can work wonders. All right. All right. I think that's a good start. We can use that to at least write around and then dial in a sound as we kind of get to it. So, all right. Let's kind of see what we got. Let's loop the chorus. I always apologize when you guys have to hear stuff looped. Let's give it a little bit. That's what I'm hearing in my head for one of the layers. Let's give myself a little bit more runway. Still learning, have some plugins in JST. Dude, JST has one of my favorite vocal plugins. The JST Demon Fuzz. Especially if you're doing anything heavy. Sometimes if there's like a vocal like, solo vocal part, if you take the JST Demon Fuzz, I'll just show you what it looks like on just a vocal channel. Super easy plugin to use. I'm pretty sure it's super affordable too. Just a Demon Fuzz. Sometimes I'll throw that on a second layer that's sitting on there, and I'll blend that with whatever the main vocal is, and I think it just gives it a bit of growl to it and can thicken up a vocal take. So that's awesome. I actually watched a Joey Sturgis. It had to be like some mixing class he was doing, and it was like, okay, cool. These are some of the tricks I do on it. So the JST Demon Fuzz is sick. It's an awesome plugin just for playing around with, especially if it's anything heavy or you want like some like stuff that sounds a little bit more harsh, layered on there. You could do cool stuff by layer, like blending vocals. What other vocal plugins do I use a ton? Little Alter Boy is great for doing a lot of like pitch shifting stuff. What else do I use a whole ton? The Cymatics Diablo does a similar thing to the JST Fuzz, but it's more just like a drive. And then I try to not use the Ozone Imager too much. I use that a lot of times on instruments that I want to have more of a stereo with, which is actually probably something we'd actually add onto the orchestra, which it'll take something that still feels really in the center and just kind of feels like it spreads it a bit. Yeah, so that's a great. Also, the what's the company that makes FabFilter? Yeah, FabFilter's EQ, compression, delay. They have FabFilter makes great stuff. Definitely recommend them. And as far as like all-in-one vocal tracks, I think they still sell it. I use the do I have the Howard Benson vocal? What do I have? De-essers are awesome. Howard Benson vocals is what I use on a ton of stuff. I personally like when you can get these kind of like all-in-one chains, especially when I'm writing and stuff, where I can just have everything appear. You guys can kind of see it like right here where it's, you could change, I think you change like you can also like change the order some of this stuff operates, but where you can have an all-in-one vocal chain and it's easier than me jumping between like 20 different windows. It's nice to be like, hey, I want to, add more space and echo to it, or I want to hit the compressor differently, or, things like that, or I want to like adjust the EQ in time versus having to jump around too many different plugins. Like that's something I'm a huge fan of. The Howard Benson vocal mix is awesome. And then there's I use the Eosis de-esser on pretty much everything. Soothe is great. It's definitely not something you need, but I think it just removes like kind of harsh frequencies. Harmony Engine's dope for if you want to like play around with harmonies fake. Melodyne and Antares Autotune are great too. Melodyne's awesome if you want something more manual. The Autotune's great if you just like, I know some engineers that actually track with the Autotune on. And before everyone gets like all weirded out about everyone using Autotune, fucking everyone's throwing it on shit nowadays. At least in like a lot of the modern rock stuff I listen to. Definitely like, don't use it as a crutch, but that's everywhere. I downloaded the Gamma Vocal Suite. I actually haven't played around with it too much. Seems like it's got a lot going on. I feel like I haven't been able to get a good kind of tone out of it yet. So that might not be being used very, very much. What else? Vocal Synth is just a neat tool to play around with. And I think I had a Slate ML1. Like Howard Benson's awesome. Yeah, you can do anything with it, and they have some great presets there too. Definitely recommend the Howard Benson for anyone that's looking for cool vocal plugins. And I know this is really hot right now. I'll lower the volumes and everything. Oh my god. Get rid of you. Once I kind of get something I like, I'm D20 King. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out. Hope to see y'all next time. I'm trying to do like Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays pretty regularly around this time. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you again. Appreciate it. 20% more Riz. I need my Riz dial. And a lot of times these orchestra ones, if they're polyphonic, I will take it. Ooh. Gotta nuke that section there. We have to make sure the amount of Riz is on stacks, as the kids say. I am not good at using the Zoomer terminology, and I'm proud of that. All right, let's hear how this is going. I might use a stereo imager on this so it doesn't feel like it's too there. I want this to sound wide. I want it to sound like an orchestra. Where is that, by the way? Ozone imager. That's what I use. And stereoize it. That's a terrible word to say. That'll get the job done. All right. The question is, do we want to do it every chorus? And this would be like another time where what I would do is if we're working with a mixing engineer, I would just send them the whole thing with it, and then tell them, hey, like, if you think it sounds good here, let's hear. Let's see if we want to cut it or not. Okay, that sounds good. All right, let's hear how that sounds in context. Throw up the whole thing before I roll out? I should, actually. I should start putting links where it's like the current status of the mix. Since we have an orchestra going, SoundCloud rapper, Beats by Nick. I do have a SoundCloud, although in my free account I can only have so many songs on there. But I think I could splurge for the real thing, and start putting these on there. That's a good idea. And I kind of want to run this. This might be the last long session we do on this fella today. For a bit. We'll see. I want to do like a pop punk song next. It is straight fire. Assuming I sell my mixtapes out of a bar, it's out of the back of a truck. Although one of the only times I was out in LA, there was this like we were at this one beach and there was like this dude like selling paintings out of the back of his van, and it's like very clearly that van was his everything. But at first I was like, oh, just having to sell paintings out of your van, that sounds like it sucks. But the guy's probably happier than I am. Like, guy's just waking up by the beach, making paintings, selling seashells and stuff. I was like, all right, dude, I respect it. I don't think I'd do it, but like, guy's living his life. So on this, I don't think we maybe need all these layers. I might just leave like kind of the low cello. Actually, the bass is low. Let's. That'd be cool to add some like that, like pizzicato stuff on there. Cool. Let's run this through my ozone mastering. And this is like a good just kind of like cheap mastering thing. Like if you're like have a demo idea and you want to send it out to your bandmates and you want to like, I know some bands that actually like use this for real stuff. I think like I was talking to the guys from the band Islander and they're like, they use this on their recordings and it sounds awesome. Mastering is going to do is kind of like normalize and do like an overall EQ on a lot of what's happening, do some limiting, just kind of get it into so it sounds like the same level as a normal song should be. Sometimes, depending on how it's engineered, things can be engineered mixed quiet or loud. It's kind of nice getting it standardized there. So what this will do is actually like analyze. You're supposed to play like the loudest parts of your song, which probably be this chorus into the bridge. Yeah. And then there might be a volume jump. So that's what a master track. Let me bring that down a bit in the mix now. Cool. Then we're going to call it soon. I'm going to play it just from soup to nuts right now so we can kind of hear where we progressed to on it. It's at a pretty good length. This is at a point now where I would send it to like a band and be like, hey, you know, what do you guys think? Can we write around this? Send it to a singer. I might send it to Mickey, actually. I think there's still layers and stuff we can add on to make it get to that point. But you could probably hear from like the past like 3 days we've been doing, or the past 3 sessions we've done, how it's turned from just like one riff idea to what it is now, which sounds pretty fleshed out. And we didn't do anything super crazy on it. It's not like there's like any ripping stuff or anything too complex. A lot of it's just listening and being like, hey, here's what I think the song needs sonically, or where in this kind of like vocal landscape do I feel like things are missing. Not that you have to fill everything, but you can have it so that, hey, here's just where I want to keep more stuff or less stuff. And if you can be like, hey, this sounds good, but I'm missing something kind of in this frequency range. Okay, well, let's look at our options. We could put guitar there. We can put piano there. We can do strings. We can do percussion. You know, there's a ton of stuff. Actually, one last thing I normally I picked up from one of the last producers I worked with. Name is Sam Guayana. He did some of the Silverstein records, and we called him like, not to his face, right? We called him like Sambo Tambo because every single song we sent him to mix, he added tambourine into, which was like, I was digging it, you know, and he would just add like tambourine sections everywhere, and I was like, what the hell is this? But it sounded awesome in the final mix. So now, like anytime I'm doing, it does need cowbell, and there is cowbell we can add in. I think it's called Shake Shimmer Strike 2. And they have a bunch of loops. And let's see if we can find, we want 4/4. And let's, we definitely want something with tambourine. You can see all the different just dumb shit they. Let's see what else. Okay, so we'd use something like this, and he would just add it randomly into the mix, and it actually would be pretty solid. And he'd like subtly make. All right, let's actually record this. Am I recording something else? Cool. Literally just take this. Let's actually get it so it starts on time. Does not sound like it's. Let's find another. Actually, this one, I think we can make this work. 2 and 3 and 4. It's off a bit. I need to actually sit down. I might have to manually program that. We can do that a different day. I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. But yeah, let's listen to it all the way through. We can call it. We can call it a day. While you're listening, thank you guys. If you've been dialing in, everyone's been leaving comments and everything. I appreciate it. Oop, left the loop on. Awesome. I think it's coming together. Again, thank you for anyone that's like dialed in and listened, whether you've been leaving comments or just hanging out. I really do appreciate it. It's like a brand new channel just started this week. So if you had a good time, want to hear more of it, you can feel free to like, follow, whatever you do on Twitch nowadays. I don't know what the exact term is on it, but I say thank you so much for hanging out. And I'll catch you guys next time. All right. See you.